one of my ascension messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson, and today I am going to be doing some channeling. Right, huge energies happening at the moment. This isn't my normal format. I'm using my mobile phone at the moment because my computer isn't being fixed. So I'm hoping that the sound's going to be fine. I haven't got earplugs in, so I hope this works. First time I've ever used my mobile for a live and on YouTube. In any case, let me know in the comments below if this sound's not coming through. Hopefully next time if I have to use my phone or my mobile again, and maybe we can go on location somewhere else. Yeah, I'll get that all fixed. So I can't see the chat bar from here at the moment, but you're welcome to chat away but amongst you. And I will be tapping in and seeing what happens, right? I tap into the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, Prime Creator. A lot of it is straight to the source of things. I've had a very profound experience of meeting oneness, which was really meeting myself at the creator of everything. Oh, I can see little chats coming up. Hi, Malcolm. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I haven't seen that before because I haven't done my mobile before. Hi, Annie. Hi, Michelle. That's really kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to talk about these huge energies that's happening at the moment and the new portals that are opening up because of them and where this is actually leading. It is a confusing time for many. We're in the void of a lot, and a lot of things are coming up for us. What we thought we had peeled away from our reality can sometimes resurface. And also the mind games is what's really coming up with that Virgo moon that happened. I'm not an astrologist, but I do know there was a Virgo moon because it had a profound effect on me. I have like 5 or 6 Virgo signs in my chart or something like that, and it just hit me whack, whack, whack every side. But it is at the grace of us how we move through this. And I'm not saying that you don't go through an emotional upheaval when something does come crashing down in front of you. Expectations are expectations, right? Emotions are emotions in the moment. But as soon as those emotions are purged, we are being asked or called to step in the moment as soon as we possibly can. That gives us our strength to propel ourselves forward, because no matter what happens to us, we constantly shift our reality into the next moment instead of hanging on to it tooth and nail, reliving it over in our logical mind and having it ruin the next part of our life. And that's purely what's been brought up with this Virgo moon, even if it did slap you side to side with the limited programming that you had in your mind, thinking that things had to go a certain way for you to become or to feel like you are the important person that you know you are. So if anyone has on my Facebook, they would have seen a couple of stories that had come up that it just really hit me hard. But within the matter of a couple of days, I was pretty much over it all and moving into, and this was not a little thing that had happened, it was a big thing. So anyway, I don't want to talk about the actual event. I want to talk about the channeling and the ascension messages that are coming through for us all, so that we can gain a new perspective of what this is all about, of what these new energies are all about. So what they were giving me was, there is, especially even with our own self, even if you are a light worker or you perceive yourself as someone with a mission, doesn't matter what you call it, I don't care about labels. Missions can also be given to many, you know, it's not just light workers. We've got people that have held codes for life after life after life, and now they're ready to come forward with their understanding of a new development of their world and so forth. But in any case, I just want to tap into what they were telling me before. There is a certain way of thinking that we have, especially when we're learning to support ourselves, and we see ourselves in light of how everyone else sees us, and how that looks or affects our outside world. And so we end up saying, oh, I feel I have a mission, I have something to accomplish in this world, a bigger picture that I want. My circle is not my immediate family, it's the whole world, or my circle is my town, or my circle, the one that you're going to affect is bigger than who you are. And then you look at that and you say, well, how am I going to come across to them? How is it going to work? And logically, your mind starts whirling on how the mission and what you want to create starts to come into focus for you. So you start focusing in on that. But that can be in conflict of what your soul's mission is, purely because there's hidden aspects of your soul's mission that you haven't quite got to, because you haven't peeled the layer of the expectations of how the outside world's going to perceive you. In other words, you could be saying to yourself, I need to look grandiose, I need to have the big house, I need to have, the career that's on path and all of that for me to be stepping into my power to be able to do my mission. And this energy that's coming in at us at the moment is crumbling our logical mind so that we don't have, where all of a sudden all of those things start to fall away from us, and we're left with us again, just purely who we are, and still moving forward in the moment to moment, because we do know that is the greater aspect of ourselves, living in the moment. And so when we're starting to move through our life with the dropping away of our logical expectations of how we have to be perceived by the outside world, then the mission can truly start, because we're coming from a value of heart. We're coming from a value of absolute self-support of who we are, just in the nakedness of who we are, just our own persona, our wisdom that's flowing through us in the moment. It's not to do with how much we own who we are in the status or of the outside world. That will naturally be acquired as you go through your mission, but it is not the forefront. It is not the way that we're supposed to be leading ourselves through to our mission. The way that we lead ourselves through to our mission is from the inner core out. And that was a very big lesson that I learned over what had happened. I also learned how amazingly supportive my partner is, how we work together so well when we knit together, when we were faced off with massive diversity. So there was massive lessons, but one of the big imparting ones that they were bringing up this morning was the fact that we are learning, we are coming into alignment, we are opening new portals into connection to our souls now. And when that happens, there has to be a falling away of that logical mind that said or dictated how things have to happen, or have to happen for you to look a certain way to other people outside of you. So it's a very valuable moment, very valuable time for all of us, and the aspect of creating our own reality, but also recognizing that we have created our reality before we were born too. Excuse me, frog in my throat. So before we were born, we already had an alignment, and even some of us who have been caught in the matrix pattern life after life, there was an alignment many eons ago in a life that you had, that you said you were going to get caught in that life after life, and be persecuted or whatever, or go be condemned or fall into victim mode, or be even the perpetrator of other people's realities and so forth, to feel the difference between both. And so forth. But there was an underlining pattern or underlining mission that you had already decided upon, that your soul was going to journey on. And this moment in time is the great awakening of humanity's consciousness. And that is in alignment with that mission that you had perceived, if it was before, because I'm straight from somewhere else, so it would have been just previously for me, but for many, life after life before life before life. Even some going all the way back to the Atlantis life that they had. And so the energies at the moment are helping guide us into this nuance of understanding what our true value of the mission is, that we can walk into this mission completely naked. They're saying completely naked, but I'm saying that in an understanding way of that we don't carry any sort of expectations of how we are perceived by the outside world. And that's where our true inner support starts to arrive, like our true heart, our true knowing of who we are starts to arrive. And then we move into that connection to our mission and our soul's desires, and everything will start to flow easier, because we know with the strength of ourselves that no matter what comes at us from the outside world, it is in our own understanding of how quickly we get over it, how quickly we can come back into living in a moment and see all the value of the moment, even though something might have felt disastrous just before. The quicker we can do that, the more we keep in alignment with who we are and the support, a self-support of who we are in this mission coming up. Yeah, so thanks guys for helping each other out. I didn't read Sarah's comment because it comes quite fast up on my message thing for my, it doesn't stay there for my phone, for my mobile, so I can't read the longer messages at the moment. My computer should be ready next week though, so I'll be back into the swing of it with the proper chat bar up. But I'm actually quite glad. See, this is the greatness of, they take away my computer, I have to use my mobile. But what happens if, I'm on location out by a mountain somewhere or something, and something wonderful happens, which often does happen with me. These extraordinary events can happen with me. At least then I can flick out my mobile and go, guys, I'm going live because these extraordinary events happen, and it takes me out of this room. So I'm actually quite grateful to be able to use my phone as it is. And I'm glad you guys can all hear me without even the earphones. So this is what I mean by breaking away of something that we hold on to. Sometimes we say, this is what I want to create, and it is, and you feel it is in alignment with your mission. But you get stuck on it because the logical mind thinks that that's how we have to keep progressing. In other words, you could say, for me to look like I'm the thing or the part that I'm playing as in my mission, I have to at least manifest a stable reality, and then I have to manifest, all these beautiful things coming my way so I can prove to people that I am in alignment. And then your logical mind gets fixated on manifesting that, and the mission, that the true essence of the mission is underneath it, and it never really it becomes the point of focus. So when we get everything taken away from us, like I did, my cruise got taken away, my computer got taken away. All sorts of things got taken away, and then I was like, I won't even get into another story that had happened. It's pretty awful. But when these things get taken away from you, you start to see the true value in who you are without them, and then that true value is in alignment with the mission, because you need to come to that true essence of value in the nakedness that you are. A very, very strong message at the moment for everybody. I'm going to see what else is coming up, because there are massive things also happening with this all around the world as well. And we're talking different country. It's really interesting what they're giving me now. It's like, it's not just us as an individual going through this. There are different aspects of different countries that have a certain soul within them, in the essence of that country. If you went from, say, I'm in Australia, if I went to Japan, I would feel like everything feels different, and everything is different, and the way that they move through their life is different. There is similarities, absolutely, we're all human, right? But there's differences too, and those differences are characteristics of the essence of the Japanese people, or the people from, Danish people, or African people. They have a certain, they're calling it like an oversoul of conscious collectiveness for countries, and that is an essence in itself that's also going through massive shifts and changes. If they aren't in alignment with the source, this prime creator or source energy that is in development of those people in that country, then there will be tweaks happening where things will fall away in that country. If they're going too far into logic, money, all that, then things will start to fall away. This can also be, funnily enough, activated by those who are in charge, and then they activate it thinking that they're going to go a certain way. But what happens is the collective consciousness is awakening at the same time, and so it doesn't come into fruition for them because it's not in alignment with the essence of the heart of the soul of each individual in that country that is awakening as well. So there's huge shifts happening all over humanity's consciousness, depending like which country you're in. And they do bring up star signs as well. We have that as well, but for some reason they want to bring it up as a country because it's more valid to the whole of the collective, because we all belong to a country somewhere or another, right? But we all don't follow astrology. I think it's called astrology, horoscopes and stuff like that. We don't all follow that, and it is really the overall collective, rather than just the spiritual people or just the people who are in the mainstream following advice of others. There's this massive shift in alignment of recognizing what's working for us and what is not. And it doesn't matter how enlightened you are or how unenlightened you are, we are all going through this in one way or another. And then the individual's mindset on, if they aren't spiritual or they don't want to feel into that, they will see it develop in a logical story that will probably end up leading them through into bringing in spirituality in a way of not religious wise or anything, but a way of connection to their outside world more than what their five senses could handle or what they were following. So there's this great awakening that's going on. The portals that are opening are coming from within us as we start to align ourselves with this new aspect of ourselves, as we start to fall away from how we need to be perceived or looked or understood by the outside world. There's just so much going on at the moment. Please don't, if something has happened to you that is very heartbreaking or detrimental, give yourself patience, allow yourself to go through the emotions, but then breathe through it and constantly say to yourself, this is happening to show me something about who I am and the true essence of who I am. And then ask the universe to supply you with that understanding. You might trip up over someone, you might start talking to them, and then they give you more of an understanding of what that is. But be patient with yourself, be gentle on yourself. Don't be too harsh on the fact that these things are boiling up to be right in front of your face, and the fear of the fear game coming in, that you're falling backwards, you're slipping away into old patterns, or you didn't understand that you were still a victim to your circumstance, and you get so upset about it because you thought you had got a lot further. You are a lot further. It literally is just the peeling away of like the onion layers, and as we come closer and closer to ourselves as source energy, as love of self, and absolute support of who we are, in the nakedness, the vulnerability of who we are, being human here on Gaia, we get to those places where we didn't even know we're part of the unbalanced program. We didn't even see it before because it was covered up by other layers. So don't be too hard on yourself. Just work through it the way that you can work through it. And also the bringing up, build up everybody will have a certain way of approaching their life, and there's no wrong or right with any of this, whether you're mainstream, whether you're spiritual, whatever. The most important thing is the evolution of your progress, or moving forward of your soul and yourself into more happier spaces of yourself, realizing that you can navigate through things that come your way from the outside world, recognizing where it's started from the inner core, and then coming from that point. Because even if you were just a mainstreamer, you might have a different story completely, but it will always come back to self. You won't be able to point your finger out at the outside world and blaming everyone else. You will be looking and analyzing your mind and understanding, oh, I see now where I went wrong. That makes sense. I have more of a clarity because I'm in alignment with my soul more, because that thing fell away. I have more of a clarity, even from a logical point of view, of seeing the picture beforehand. So the picture beforehand could have been you are always in the center of having bad relationships, or meeting bad bosses, or constantly having cars right up your butt or something, and you're frustrated with it. Or it could be anything, but you are the main denominator in creating that reality. And if it's constantly happening to you, then there's something within you that you need to shift your focus. Once you start to shift your focus into a lot more loving, progressive world, seeing the world from a loving self, and self-respect, then those things won't even be in your reality anymore. You just will move through life without even noticing them, or other people won't reflect that back to you anymore. They just feel relaxed when they're in the car behind you, and they don't even think about going right up your butt. I mean, some people are in a daze and they go right up your butt and they don't even think about it, and your energy is always like, they're always doing that, and they're just like in this daze, not even thinking, and then you end up seeing it over and over again. I'm using that as an excuse because it's easy. Most adults have been on the road driving and had that happen to them. But anything can be shifted from your perspective and how you view your world. The more you focus in on a target of that person's going to act like that, or the outside world always shows me that, why not say, well, if I can manifest that into my world even more, why not shift that focus into manifesting what you desire and what you love even more? That's how powerful you are, right? Because you've already manifested it over and over again through your logical mind focusing and replaying it. So yeah, huge shifts opening, big portals opening within, because of that connection to our soul, which is then going to take us up levels we're up leveling, into not being so afraid of what others say is going to happen to us. Because even if they said, you can't do that, then you move into something else that you absolutely love and you do that, and it could have been even better. So no one can stop you from aspiring to have the happiest life that you want, or the best life that you want. No one can stop us from that. And that best life sometimes it can only happen when we shifted into seeing those things that we thought were important fall away. And then when they fall away and you're still moving through your life and the mission that you desired, nothing changed, then you didn't need it. You didn't need to focus in on it and put all that energy in on that for it to matter so much in your life. Because sometimes we're always waiting for all our ducks to be in a line. And when we're waiting for all that to be in a line, we never really end up getting to where we're going, because some of those ducks are just alignment with our logical mind trying to fixate on how the outside world saw us. Yeah. So if you do have a short question, I could answer a short question because it does only flick up for about, 5-10 seconds or something on my mobile. Okay. We'll see what else comes through though. That was such a big message though for now. We are... okay. So that we are stepping into a whole new alignment. Many of us are. And it feels shaky. It can feel a little bit like anxiousness, anxiety, like your heart's like, ugh. And they're saying it's like starting a new job. Any new job that you start, doesn't matter how easy that job is, when you move, that first day is always full of a little bit of anxiousness as to how you navigate through that job, how you feel about yourself navigating through it, and all of that, how you interact with the nuances of the new people, the new buildings, the new whatever. And the same goes for when we open up new portals within our minds, connecting us to our soul and the true essence of our missions, or the true essence of who we are authentically, and stepping into that, even if it is just us being ordinary people and living our life in a much more peaceful mind, even if that is the pureness of your mission, and what a grandiose mission that would be. Even if you do that, we end up... Sorry, I just thought I want to... happens so quickly, I can't read them. Such a shame. Anyway, sorry, I saw a question and I didn't quite get it. So even if that happens, we end up feeling, when we move into something new, we will feel that kind of anxiety. Don't see it as... don't feel into it as going backwards, or losing the plot, or losing who you are, or feeling like... just see it as you've stepped up on a whole new platform. You're not sure about what that platform looks like. When you walk through that door the first time into a job, you don't know what that building's going to look like. You don't know what your desk is going to look like. You don't know how the people are going to react to you. You don't know who they are. And even though we're stepping up into alignment with more of our soul tribes, the people that are more in alignment with our mission. That's what I see as soul tribes, people that are more in alignment. And that could be fleeting in, fleeting out. They could be there for a long time. They could be there for a short time. But when we start to move in alignment with that, it does become easier because we're reflected back with an understanding of who we are, rather than someone not understanding us and trying to push us into a limited consciousness that they have because they're feeling unsafe about losing you. But still, there will be this kind of anxiousness as to where this is going. But open the door and walk into that unknown aspect of yourself. Trust yourself through it, because you are just, it's like they're showing me you opening a door and there's light just flying out. It's like you're opening the cracks to more light being infused into your DNA, more light coming through your body, more light coming through your neurons of your mind. That means that when that happens, we have an expansiveness of our reality. We see more things that weren't present before. So we could literally start seeing more craft in the sky, or people who passed over coming up to us and talking to us, or things like that, that we weren't able to be able to tap into before, because we didn't have the light or the love of who we are flowing through our DNA. And remember, I have brought this up before, as we awaken, whether it be our neuron parts of our brain or the DNA or what we see outside of us, it all goes together. It never, if one is awoken, the other is awoken. It all comes up together. It is that is just us waking up. So if all of a sudden you have a clearing within your logical mind that brings you into more balance with your intuitive mind, that allows more connection to your soul, then your DNA starts to activate within your body of remembering certain things that were in alignment with your soul's wisdom coming through. And you then accept it as the truth or the essence of who you are, and then you move into that gift. That gift starts to come into alignment. So we're literally stepping into new alignments of these gifts opening up, and then our physical body starts to become that, starts to react with our outside world from a new perspective. So yeah, there's a lot of very they're saying informative wisdom. That's interesting. So I always see information as something that's logical, that we held into our logical mind. Wisdom to me, okay, that makes sense. Wisdom to me is something that's connected to the soul, and it's purely comes through like an autistic child, a savant autistic, and they just know things. They know the pi decibel of, for eons, or they just know things. They can observe images from above the world, and they can draw things that others couldn't see unless they were in there physically. So savant autistics are very connected to their soul, but they're not grounded in the logical sense of this programmable reality that we're in, moving through. So when they're saying knowledgeable wisdom, it is collaboration of both what you've learnt of this physical world and the wisdom coming through to ground. So there's that opening as well. Yeah. So I'm really happy though that everyone's helping Sarah. I can see that flicking by. Thank you so much for that. See, we're all in this together, and there's we bounced off each other. There's no hierarchy in this higher purposeful expansion of awareness that we're moving into on Gaia or on Earth. We're all just there helping guide each other, because it's just beautiful anyway when it happens like that. Yeah, so I'm just thinking whether there's any more messages coming through for today, or where we can go from here. I'm just seeing what's happening. I'm kind of, they're showing me a book. I'm not sure where we're going now. Okay. I'm bringing up a dream that I had of a dragonfly that I followed into a temple. And each square that I went on, tile that I went on, lit up as I walked through it. And there was this book of wisdom there. This is years ago. Okay, I see where they're going. So there is also, oh, that's so nice. There is also these esoteric rooms that we have created for ourselves in a manner where our logic could handle, that we could go visit, that holds wisdom. And even though you can tap in and just bring that through to help those that are still processing everything, some of us have set up specific rooms before we were born that are esoteric rooms, and they're held within your imagination, and what that looks like that to you. It's specific for you, and in there will be they're showing me a book, could be on a podium, could be a movie, could be some sort of reflection or mirror, or something that's coming back at you. Everyone's different how they've set this up for themselves. I walk up to a podium thing and I open a big book, and that's my book of wisdom. That is in alignment with your soul's wisdom that you can tap into. Some people call that the Akashic record, connecting straight through to source energy, connects to the center of Gaia, because we've come through the sun to those that have come from higher dimensional frequencies that are outside of the solar system would have been born through the sun. My daughter told me that when she was only 4 years old. She said her and I were born through the sun, because our souls come from another place. Where Ayla wasn't, my other daughter is very grounded in this reality, and she's been here before. But they're bringing that up because there's this wisdom that you hold within the core of yourself that's in an esoteric room, and you can connect to it in whatever manner or format that looks like to you. Could be a garden as well, they're saying. But they're calling it a room because it's just so that your logic can interpret it. But it could be a space, a garden, by a river, anything like that. You could look into a flower and all the wisdom pours into you. But there is a way for you to connect to this wisdom of knowing who thyself is, and at the core essence of who you are. And when you can tap into that, then you can align yourself, or choose the bits that your logical mind can handle, that you can ground. There'll be so they're showing me the onion again, and it's layering off. And the more we layer off, the more we come into the core of ourselves, the more we can connect to that room that we already created for our logical brain to be able to handle before we were born. And then you can go into it. The wisdom can be poured through. You're feeding it. It's like they're feeding it from the soul to the logical side of ourselves to see what will be grounded, to feel into what can be created in this world, what gifts, what information works for the reality that you want to create. Now you can create anything you desire, anything that your logical brain accepts, but it has to come from an exception. Otherwise, what we do is we move through our world with all this wondrous imagination, and we cannot prove it, and because it's not grounded. It's just in an esoteric form up there. And that's when people come across feeling like you're not quite with it, because you haven't grounded it in this reality. But if you walked through your world and say to yourself, yes, I can ground the fact that I can contact my soul tribe that is from another planet, and I want to see visible information, then you will be able to film it, or you will be able to see it in amongst a crowd and they can see it too. So you're grounding that understanding that you have such a powerful connection that others can see it. It's grounded in this reality. And that's how we start shifting up, because we're starting to see the truth in alignment with what our souls came here to experience, which was more expansiveness. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm thinking I might leave it there, and I will be back on Tuesday with another tarot reading. Monday is our class. Monday is our class, so that's on premonition dreaming. So if you want to be a part of that, go to my website, which is, the link should be down below. I've done a very basic link down below, codestoanewreality.com, and then you just click on book here, click on the date, and $20 is all it costs. You can be part of the Zoom collaboration of people. I might not have my computer, I might be doing it via my phone, so it's going to be really interesting how we're going to do this. Cross fingers my computer's back by then, but I will still do it because I think it's important. And yeah, so if you want to be part of that team that we've got quite a nice group of people coming through. That's on premonition dreamings, and how we can get deeper into understanding premonition dreamings, ignite the premonition dreamings. I'm going to channel through some information on it, why they're important, all that sort of thing, and a couple of dreams. Oh, well, I've definitely had heaps. I've had heaps of premonition dreams. So there's a mountain of stories, but we'll see how it all flows and whether I have my computer back and stuff like that for that class. But please, yeah, go ahead and book that. I do personal readings as well. Excuse me. And we'll see where we all go from here. So I love you guys heaps. Until next time, bye. Now I have to find the button on how to close this off. I think they just say bye. Bye.